If you're still waiting for closure, we need to talk. Because a lot of you are sitting there thinking, if they would just explain it, if they would just tell me the truth, if they would just say sorry, if they would just give me one real conversation, why did they pull away? Did they ever love me? Why can't I move on without answers? And people keep asking me this. Why do avoidants so often leave confusion behind them? Why do they disappear, go cold, breadcrumb, come back vague, and then vanish again? Why can't they just have one honest conversation? And the answer is more complicated than most people think. Because what feels cruel to you often feels threatening to them. Now stay with me. I'm not excusing bad behavior. I'm explaining the machinery. You get that text, hey, or hope you're well, or they watch your story after months, or they like something old, and suddenly your brain lights up. You think, maybe now I'll get closure. Maybe now they're ready. Maybe now they'll explain. But then the conversation goes nowhere. Surface talk, random topics, no depth, no accountability, no real answers. And now you feel worse than before. Why? Because hope got reactivated. Here's the truth moment. A lot of avoidant people do not withhold closure because they're masterminds. They withhold closure because closure requires the exact things they struggle with most. Emotional honesty, sitting in discomfort, taking responsibility, feeling another person's pain without escaping, being fully known. That's huge. Think about this for a second. A real closure conversation might require them to say, I cared about you, but I got scared. I pulled away because intimacy overwhelmed me. I handled this badly. I hurt you. I wanted connection and freedom at the same time. Those are vulnerable sentences. Those are exposing sentences. Those are nervous system threatening sentences for someone wired to avoid emotional intensity. So instead, they go silent. They minimize. They say, I'm just busy. I don't know. You're overthinking. It is what it is. Or they disappear entirely. And the partner, you, gets left holding the emotional bill. Look, this is why it messes with you so badly. Because human beings can tolerate pain better than confusion. Pain says it ended. Confusion says maybe not. Pain says this person chose not to continue. Confusion says they cared, didn't they? Pain hurts clean. Confusion hurts daily. That's why some of you can't stop thinking about them. It's not always because they were so amazing. Sometimes it's because the story never landed. Your mind keeps reopening the file, trying to solve it, trying to understand, trying to get certainty from someone who lives in ambiguity. That can become a fucking loop. Now, let me be blunt for a second. Sometimes you're waiting for closure from the least qualified person to give it. They couldn't communicate well during the relationship, and now you expect elite communication after it? Come on, honestly. Sometimes the person who confused you most is not the person who can free you. That matters. Now, if this is hitting home, do me a favor. Like the video, follow the channel, subscribe, share it with someone stuck waiting for one last conversation. Because so many people are trapped in this exact loop. Now, let's go deeper. Some avoidants do care. That confuses people. You think, if they cared, why no closure? Because caring and capacity are not the same thing. Someone can care and still lack the emotional maturity to show up well. Someone can miss you and still avoid repair. Someone can think about you and still choose distance. That's painful but real. And some avoidants don't come back for closure either. They come back for regulation. They feel lonely, triggered, curious, nostalgic, need validation, need to see if the door is still open. So they send, hey stranger, and you think, this is it, but it isn't. Many times they're not asking, can we heal this? They're asking, do I still have access? That distinction can save you years. Now, I know what some of you are asking. So will I never get closure? Maybe not from them. And I know that's not the answer people want. But let me tell you something important. Closure from them is external. Closure from you is internal. External closure says they explained everything perfectly. Internal closure says I see the pattern clearly now. External closure says they apologized enough. Internal closure says I no longer need their permission to heal. External closure says they finally gave me the answers. Internal closure says their behavior was the answer. That one line right there, write it down. Their behavior was the answer. The inconsistency was an answer. The silence was an answer. The mixed signals were an answer. The unwillingness to repair was an answer. Not the answer you wanted, but still an answer. As the heartbreak guy, I'll tell you this plainly. Many people stay emotionally attached because they confuse missing closure with missing the person. Sometimes you don't miss them as much as you miss the resolution. That's a game changer when you see it. So what do you do now? You stop waiting by the emotional mailbox. You stop believing the next vague text will heal years of confusion. You stop making their future honesty the condition for your present peace. You grieve what happened. You respect what it cost you. You learn what the pattern taught you. And you move forward wiser, not bitter, wiser. If you need help breaking trauma bonds, healing after avoidant dynamics, or finally getting your mind back, you can book a one-on-one session through the link in my bio or contact me through PopCall for chat, voice, or video, and just sit with this tonight. Sometimes closure doesn't arrive as a conversation. Sometimes it arrives as clarity.